Westinghouse. Tonight starring Dorothy McGuire, John Payne, Richard Carlson, Herbert Marshall, Mary Astor, Charles Winninger, Dick Foran, with Neva Patterson in The Philadelphia Story by Philip Berry. For the best of buys in electrical appliances that make your home more efficient. Westinghouse. For the best of buys in light bulbs and electrical appliances that make your work easier. Westinghouse. For the best of buys in radios, television sets, and first with color television.
You can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
From among the great Broadway hits of our age, Westinghouse now proudly presents in full color another in a series unique in the history of television.
The best of Broadway. The best of Broadway.
Now, Act One of The Philadelphia Story.
Knickknacks, gimcracks, signed photographs. Wouldn't you know you'd have to be as rich as the Lords to live in a dump like this?
Yeah. I'm bushed. The magazine Destiny is printed in the blood of its writers and photographers, particularly in yours and mine.
An assignment's an assignment. I wonder where the family is. Things seem mighty quiet around here for the day before a wedding.
Mr. Scott said to wait for him in the living room. We can do naught but wait. Miss Tracy Lord. First husband, C.K. Can you imagine what a guy named C.K. Dexter Haven must be like?
I knew a plain Joe Smith once. He was only a clerk in a hardware store, but he was an absolute louse.
Also designs and races sailboats, class boats, I believe they call them. Very upper class, no doubt.
Don't despair. That marriage only lasted 10 months. He's out, and Kittredge, man of the people, is in.
Yeah, and from all reports, quite a comer, this fiancé. Look here, George Kittredge, age 35. Since last year, manager, Quaker State Coal Company. Up from the bottom. Poor guy. Wonder how he ever fell for Tracy Lord.
Oh, I imagine she's a young lady who knows what she wants when she wants it.
The young, rich, rapacious American female. There's no other country where she exists.
Oh, I'll admit the idea of her scares even me. Would I change places with her for all her wealth and beauty? Boy, just ask me.
Ah, Mr. Scott. Hello again.
Forgive me for having left you to your own devices so long, but, you know, whenever I appear in this area, I've got to check in at my own home with my honorable wife. Have you been made comfortable?
More than.
Good. Now I'll round up the rest of the family for your...
Oh, they don't know about us, do they? I mean that we're covering the wedding for Destiny.
Well, pleasant or not, don't you think?
Oh, much.
Look, Mr. Scott, why don't you just throw us out?
I hope you'll never know.
I simply say thank you so much for the lovely silver dish.
Here's the tab. Old Dutch muffinair, circa 1810. What the... I'm simply enchanted with your old Dutch muffinair, with which my husband and I will certainly hear any old muffin coming a mile away.
Hello, Uncle Willie.
Where did you come from?
Oh, just down from New York.
How are you, Uncle Willie?
Oh, hello, Tracy. Your great Aunt Geneva is certainly spreading herself for your party. Why aren't you married in church?
Because I like it here in the parlor so much better.
Well, that's not the point. The point is that I have thousands invested in that church, and I'd like to get some use out of it. Thomas?
Mr. Connor and Miss Imbrie have been settled in their room, sir. I think they're waiting in the living room.
I understand. Yes, Thomas.
What's all this?
Mr. Conan, who?
Macaulay Connor, his name is, and Miss Elizabeth Imbrie. Yes. You see, the guest rooms in our house were long since booked, so I'm putting them up here for the wedding. They're very nice. You like them.
You ask people to stay in our house without even asking us?
I think it's very queer.
I
indeed.
think it's queerer than that. I think it's paranoid. Elizabeth Imbrie, I know that name. She's a... Holy moly, she's a photographer, and a famous one. They're from that magazine, Destiny. Destiny sent them here. Well, they can go right back again.
I'm afraid not. Not until they get their story.
Story? What story?
The Philadelphia story.
And what on earth is that?
It was my suggestion, in the nature of a trade, you might say. You see, the editor of Destiny and I are passing acquaintances. And last week, he sent me some press proofs. An article all about Broadway and finance. And a good portion of it has been devoted to the examination of your father's large financial interests in 3 plays for a little dancer named Tina Mara.
And why is living in New York instead of here with his family, I'll bet.
Something like that.
Great heaven.
So we're to let them publish the inside story of my wedding in order to cover Father's wretched little antics.
Well, it was the only explanation.
Well, if we have to submit to it, to save Father's face, which incidentally does not deserve saving, I'll give them a story. I'll give them a story they can't get through the mail.
Tracy, you will do nothing of the sort. We shall be ourselves with them. Very much ourselves.
Mother, you want us to make a good impression, don't you?
Tracy, you must promise me that you'll behave like a lady, if only for my sake.
I'll do my best, Mrs. Lord. I don't know how good that'll be.
Willie, they don't know that we know why they're
No,
here,
that
do they?
was understood.
Oh, Trey, the other time, he's back from wherever he's been.
What do you mean?
Dexter Haven, of course. Saw his car out in front of his house this morning early when I was out exercising the hooper.
Why didn't you tell us?
Oh, I'm not worried about him, Mother. The only trouble C.K. Dexter Haven ever gave me was when he married me.
Well, in view of this second attempt of yours, it might pay you to remind yourself that neither of us has proven to be a very great success as a wife.
We just picked the wrong first husband, that's all.
That's a very vulgar remark.
Ah, who cares about either of them anymore? Golly Moses, I'm going to be happy now.
Darling.
Isn't George an angel?
George is an angel.
Suds, I'm a lucky girl.
I like Dexter.
Really? Why don't you ask him to lunch or something?
Mother, why didn't Tracy ask her own father to her wedding?
Well, your sister has very definite opinions about certain things.
She's sort of, hard, isn't she?
Not hard. Tracy sets exceptionally high standards for herself, that's all. And while she lives up to them, other people aren't always able to. Willie, will you come upstairs with me for a minute while I collect myself?
Yes, of course.
Hello. May I please speak to Mr. Dexter Haven? Hey, Dexter, it's you. Dinah, you go. Dinah Lord. Look at Dexter. Tracy says, why don't you come right over for lunch? But she told me to ask you. Listen, though, maybe it'd be better if you come around... Hello? How do you do? Friends of Uncle William, are you not?
Yes. How do you do?
I'm Dinah Lord. My real name is Diana, but my sister changed it.
Well, I'm Elizabeth Imbrie, and this is Macaulay Connor. It's all been-
Enchanté de vous voir. Enchanté de faire votre connaissance. I spoke French before I spoke English.
Really?
Oh, c'est vrai, absolument. The south of France, how well I remember it. Those perfumed nights, the flowers, the wine. I was there once on a little trip with Leopold Stokowski.
You were there with your governess after the whooping cough.
My sister Tracy. Greetings, sister.
Mother wants to see you at once. At once.
you've got on my headband?
Your face is dirty. It's awfully nice having you here. I do hope you'll stay for the wedding.
We'd like to very much.
Matter of fact, that was our idea.
I'm so pleased it occurred to you. Oh, what a cunning little camera.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm rather a nuisance with it.
Oh, you couldn't be. I hope you'll take loads. Dear Mama and Papa aren't allowing any reporters in for the wedding, except for little Mr. Grace, who does the social news. Can you imagine a grown-up man having to sink so low?
It does seem pretty bad.
People have always been so kind to us, letting us live our simple and uneventful little lives here, unmolested. Of course, after my divorce last year, dear Papa did think that some of the reporters' methods were a trifle underhanded. You're a writer, aren't you, Mr. Connor?
In a manner of speaking.
I sent for your books. Is this your first visit to Philadelphia?
Just about.
I suppose you consider us somewhat provincial.
Not at all, I assure you.
Odd customs and such, where the scrapples eat biddle on Sunday. Where are you from, Mr. Connor?
South Bend, Indiana.
That's, west of here. South Bend. Sounds like a dance. How old are you, Mr. Connor?
I was 35 last month.
2 books isn't very much for a man of 35.
Well-
I don't mean to criticize. I suppose you have other interests outside your work.
No, no.
Oh, how sweet. Are you two in love?
Oh.
That's an odd question, I must say.
I don't see why. I think it's interesting. Tell me, Miss Imbrie, don't you agree that all this marrying and giving in marriage is the biggest gift that's ever been put over on the unsuspecting public?
Can she be human?
Please, Mr. Connor, I asked Miss Imbrie a question.
No, as a matter of fact, I don't.
Good, nor do I. That's why I'm putting my chin out for the second time tomorrow.
Tracy!
Here's the lucky man now in here, my dear, in here, dear. Miss Imbrie, Mr. Connor, Mr. Kittredge, my beau, friends of Uncle Willie's, George.
Well, any friend of Mr. Scott's?
How do you do?
How do you do?
Fine as silk, thanks.
You certainly look it.
Well, I guess I have shaken quite a little coal dust off my feet the past few weeks.
Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it wonderful what a little soap and water will do? But you should see him with the men. They simply adore him.
Oh, come on, Tracy.
George, it won't rain, will it? Promise me it won't rain.
I'll see to that personally, Tracy.
I almost believe you could.
I guess this must be love.
Your guess is correct, Mr. Connor.
I'm just his faithful old dog, Trey.
Give me your paw.
You've got it.
How do you do?
How do you do?
We're so happy to have you. Forgive me for not coming down sooner, but things are in such a state. I had no idea that a simple country wedding could involve so much. My little girl. I'm sorry my husband isn't here to greet you, but he's been detained in New York on business for that lovely Tina Mara. You know her work?
Only vaguely.
Talented. And such a lovely person, but like so many artists, no business head, none whatsoever. Dexter Haven.
Hello, friend. Enemy? I came the short way across the field.
Well, this is a surprise.
I should think it is.
Hello, you sweet thing.
Now you go right back home.
Remove yourself, young man.
But I had an invitation. It was sweet and thoughtful of you to ask me to lunch, Tracy.
Not at all. Miss Imbrie, Mr. Connor, my former husband, whose name for the moment escapes me.
Of course, I was coming anyway, but the invitation did make it easier. Oh, hello, George.
How are you, Haven?
You don't look so good. Poor fella, I know just how you feel. Why doesn't she look in the pink, though? She needs trouble to mature her, Kittredge. I hope you give her plenty of it.
Oh, she can't count on me for that, Haven.
No, that's too bad. For your own sake, Tracy, I think you should have stuck to me longer.
I thought it was for life, but the nice judge gave me a full pardon.
That's the way I like it. No bitterness, no recrimination, just a good straight hit in the jaw.
Very funny.
Luncheon is served, ma'am.
Thank you, Thomas. Shall we?
Oh, Miss Imbrie, do you mind if I go in with Mr. Connor?
Why, not in the least.
Miss Imbrie, I would be honored to escort such a lovely flower of womanhood.
Good morning, daughter. I don't know how welcome I am, but what with the wedding and the family, I thought the least I could do.
Would you please go in? I want a word with Father.
Hello, Seth. Good to see you here.
Thanks, Dexter. Well, daughter?
Well,
Still justice with her shining sword, eh? Who's on the spout?
we are. Thanks to you. Dexter, would you mind doing something for me, please?
Of course, anything.
Get the blazes out of here.
Oh, I couldn't do that. It wouldn't be fair to you. You need me too much.
We'll return to Act Two of the Philadelphia story in just a moment. And now Betty Furness presents Sneak Preview.
Uh-huh. So that's where his parents hid the Christmas presents. Well, look, a portable radio. Well, that's one present he'll be very happy to open Christmas morning. And so will anyone else who gets this beautiful Westinghouse Deluxe Personal Portable. It's so lightweight and compact and easy to handle. And as for tone, well, you know how most portables sound. And the sound fades away when it's not at just the right angle. But not with this beautiful Westinghouse. It has beautiful tone at absolutely any angle. And that's because it has a high-gain antenna for more effective reception. Now here, we've opened the radio to show you the long-life batteries installed, and even if you can't get those, you can use ordinary flashlight batteries. You simply reverse this exclusive Westinghouse battery holder and install them right like this. Your favorite stations come in loud and clear as ever. Such an exciting Christmas gift. And this handsomely styled portable comes in 3 striking colors: red, brown, or beige. Now, if your budget's beginning to feel that pre-Christmas pinch, here's happy news. The regular price of this Westinghouse portable, complete with all accessories, was $49.80. But right now, for the next 10 days, you can get this Westinghouse Deluxe Personal Portable with the carrying case, and it comes complete with batteries and this useful power supply unit that lets you plug your radio into any household AC outlet, all for only $34.95. You save $14.85. That could mean a lot right now, so hurry. See this Westinghouse Best of Buys at your dealers tomorrow. And remember, you can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
Now we bring you Act Two of the Philadelphia story with its all-star cast. Time, later that night.
Interruption, please?
Oh, with pleasure. What's the matter?
I've just been reading these stories, your book. They're just so all-fired beautiful.
You like? Well, thanks.
Why, Connor, they're almost poetry.
Don't fool yourself. They are poetry.
Tell me something, will you? When you can do something like this, how can you possibly let just your mind take over and turn out something that's not nearly so good?
Such as what?
Well, you said at lunch, what was it you said? Cheap stuff for expensive magazines?
You may never believe this from where you sit, but there are people in this world that have to earn a living.
That wasn't especially kind of you, Mr. Connor.
Well...
I can't make you out at all. You talk so big and tough, and then you write like this. Which is which?
Maybe I'm both.
I don't think so. I think you put the toughness on to save your skin.
You think?
I know a little about that.
Do you?
Quite a bit. The book, it just came as such a complete surprise. The one called, With the Rich and Mighty. I think I liked it best.
I got that from a Spanish peasant's proverb. With the rich and mighty, always a little patience.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hi.
Hello. Fancy seeing you here.
Oh, orange juice. Certainly.
Are you sure you don't want something stronger?
No, thanks. This'll do.
Don't tell me you've given up your beloved whiskey and whiskey.
No, I just changed the color, that's all. I go in for the pale pastel shades now. I find them more becoming.
Dexter, would you tell me what on earth you're hanging around here for?
Excuse me,
No,
please,
please don't leave. I'd honestly much prefer it if you didn't.
So would I, Mr. Connor. Do stay. Tracy, you are looking wonderful. You're getting a fine, tawny look to you.
Oh, we're going to talk about me, are we? Goody. Only at the moment, I'm not interested in myself. What interests
Not
me at
interested
this
in
moment...
yourself, my dear. You're fascinated. You're far and away your most favorite person in the world. And she's kindness itself, Mr. Connor.
Itself, Mr. Connor?
And generous to a fault. That is, except to other people's faults. For instance, she never had the slightest patience toward nor understanding of what used to be known as my deep and gorgeous thirst.
It was disgusting. It made you so unattractive.
It was weakness, sure. And strength is her religion, Mr. Connor. She's a goddess without patience toward any kind of human weakness. And when I gradually discovered that my my position to her was to be not that of loving husband and good companion, but rather, never mind.
Say it.
But that of a kind of a high priest to a virgin goddess. My drinks grew more frequent and deeper in hue.
I never considered you as that, nor myself.
You did without knowing it. And then the night that you discovered champagne and took off your clothes and climbed out on the roof and stood there with your arms wide to the moon, baying like a banshee.
I told you I haven't the slightest recollection of ever having done such a thing.
Sure, you drew a blank. You wanted to. Tell me, Mr. Connor, what would you say if...
He's a reporter, incidentally. They're doing us for destiny.
Yeah, Uncle Willie told me. Too bad we can't supply some photographs of you on the roof. Tracy, when I heard you were going to marry Kittredge, I couldn't believe it. That's why I came on. How on earth can you think of such a thing?
Because I love him, that's why. As I never even began to love you. You couldn't possibly understand him or his qualities. You just could never do it.
I'm talking about difference in mind and imagination. You could marry Mac, the night watchman. I'd cheer for you. Must be something to this virgin goddess business.
You seem quite contemptuous of me, all of a sudden.
Not of you, Trey. Never of you. If I'm contemptuous of anything, it's something in you you either can't help or make no attempt to. Your so-called strength, your prejudice against weakness, your blank intolerance.
Is that all?
That's about the gist of it. Because you'll never be a first-class woman or a first-class human being till you learn to have some patience for human weakness. Too bad your own foot can't slip once in a while. But no. The goddess must and shall remain intact.
Blast you, Dex, if you say another word around here, I'll have you thrown out of this house.
I've had my say. I've said it.
Well, I suppose I ought to object to this little twosome.
That would be most objectionable. Tracy, I left a little wedding present for you on the table. I'm sorry I don't have a pretty ribbon to tie it in.
There. You see, it's no use even attempting to be friendly.
Certainly not. I shouldn't expect you to. Please don't mind him.
Miss Embry, as a camera fiend, I think I have another important subject for you. It's part of the old house, a little removed from it.
Oh, at sunset, idyllic. It's a photograph of the true love.
What? What's that?
It's a boat he designed and built practically. We sailed her up the coast of Maine and back the summer we were married. My, she was yar.
Yar? What's that mean?
It means, oh, what does it mean? It means, easy to handle, quick to the helm, fast, bright, everything a boat should be.
I see.
George, you don't really mind him, do you? I mean, the fact that he was, you know, ever my lord and master, that...
I don't believe he ever was. I don't believe anyone ever was or ever will be, Tracy. That's the wonderful thing about you. You're like some old, distant queen, I guess, that nobody can ever possess really or even touch hardly. It's the wonderful you in you. It's a kind of a purity. Yes, that's the word for it.
George!
Oh, it's grand, Tracy, grand. Everybody's aware of it. It's what I first worshipped you for.
I don't want to be worshipped. I want to be loved.
Oh, you're that too. You're that too, Tracy.
No, you don't see what I mean.
Later. George, you aren't dressed yet. And Tracy, you're the guest of honor. You can't be late.
Right on my way, ma'am. Wait for me. I make the gatehouse and nothing's flat now.
Does he by chance ever walk anywhere?
When he likes, I expect.
I have the feeling he's going to take the ring tomorrow and go through tackle with it.
That's very amusing, I'm sure.
Oh, keep that note out of your voice, Tracy. It's most unattractive.
And how does Miss Mara talk, or does she purr?
Tracy.
Very sweet and low, I suppose. Very dulcet.
Tracy, stop it instantly.
I can't help it. It's sickening, just as if he'd done nothing at all.
Well, it's no concern of yours. If it concerns anyone, it concerns... Well, actually, I don't know whom it does concern, except your father.
That's very wise of you, Margaret. What most wives won't seem to realize is that their husband's philandering, especially the middle-aged kind, has nothing whatever to do with them.
Oh, what has it to do with then?
It's a reluctance to grow old, I think. I suppose the best mainstay a man can have as he gets along in years is a daughter. The right kind of daughter.
How sweet.
Oh, no, I'm talking very seriously about something I've given a lot of thought to. I've had to. I think a devoted young daughter gives a man the illusion that youth is still his.
Very important, I suppose.
Very. and without her he's inclined to go in search of it. But with a girl of his own, full of warmth for him, full of foolish, unquestioning, uncritical affection.
None of which I've got.
Oh, none. You have a good mind, a pretty face, a disciplined body that that does what you tell it to. You have everything it takes to make a lovely woman, except the one essential, an understanding heart. Without it, you might just as well be made of bronze.
That's an awful thing to say to anyone.
Indeed it is.
So I'm to blame for Tina Mara, am I?
If any blame attaches, to some extent, I expect you are.
You coward.
No. But better to be one than a prig and a perennial spinster, however many marriages.
Seth, now I understand a great deal that I didn't.
It's all past now, Margaret. It has been for some time. Forgive me? You won't have to again. I understand a lot more than I did as well.
Spencer, do you mean to say I think I'm some sort of virgin goddess or something?
If your ego wishes to call it that, yes.
What's the matter with everyone around here all at once anyway?
Miss Embry preferred dressing to my company. Well, no matter. The night is young. Champagne, Tracy?
No, thank you.
Oh, I forgot. You never.
Willie, don't you think we'd better be going?
Why, what's a lack? What's amiss? Ah, Miss Embry, you're the picture of loveliness. Who will go with me in my little car?
Dinah will. Miss Embry, Mr. Connor, will you ride over with Mrs. Lord and myself? I think there's some explanations in order.
Hey, aren't you coming?
I'll follow along with George.
What's the matter with you, Tracy?
You tell me, will you?
Darn if I know. I'd like to.
Well, if you happen to find out.
I'll tell you. Sure.
And remember, Mike, with a rich and mighty...
Always a little patience. Yes, Highness. I'll remember.
Do that. Please do.
Whiskey is a clap on the back, but champagne, entwining arms.
Is that Connor the poet, or is that Connor the rebel?
The poet. The prettiest sight in this nice, pretty world is the privileged class enjoying its privileges.
Also, something of a snob.
Well, consider, gentle reader, they toil not, neither do they spin.
Yes, they do. They spin and sickle.
Gracie, you can't marry that guy. I thought I'd be for it, but somehow you two just don't match up.
The time to make up your mind about people, Professor, is never. Besides which, you're just a mass of prejudice. You're just so much thought and so little feeling.
Oh, I am, am I?
Yes, you am, are you? Your blasted intolerance infuriates me. I mean, infuriates me. I should think a writer of all people would need tolerance. Fact is, you'll never be a first-rate writer or a first-rate human being until you learn to have some small regard for... Party's over. Let's go home. No, not that way. We'll go across the lawn, through the birch groves and down by the pool. It'll be lovely now.
Well, what about the others?
Everybody's gone. George and I had a fight. He stormed out half an hour ago.
Come on. There aren't any rules about human beings, that's all.
You're teaching me things, Professor. Thanks. I'm beholden to you.
Well, class is dismissed. Miss Lord will please wait.
Miss Lord is privileged.
You're quite a girl, Tracy. There's magnificence in you. I'm telling you, magnificence. It comes out of your eyes. It's in your voice. It's in the way you walk, in the way you stand there. You're lit from within, bright, bright, bright. There are fires banked down in you, hearth fires and holocausts.
Then I don't seem to you made of bronze.
You're made of flesh and blood. And that's the blank, unholy surprise of it. You're the golden girl, Tracy. Full of love and warmth and delight.
Shut up, Mike. Keep on talking. Talk, will you, Mike?
I've stopped.
Why? Has your mind taken hold again, Professor?
You think?
Yes, Professor.
That's about time, don't you agree?
No, Professor?
And lay off that professor, will you?
Yes, Professor.
That's really all I am to you, isn't it?
Of course, Professor.
Are you sure?
Yes. Yes, of course, Professor. Golly. Golly Moses.
Tracy, you darling, darling.
Mr. Connor.
Let me tell you something.
All of a sudden, I've got the shakes.
So have I.
Well, what does it mean?
I guess it must be something like love.
No, it can't be. It mustn't be.
Why not? Would that be inconvenient?
Oh, Mike, I'm a bad girl.
Oh, not you, Tracy. You're lovely.
I'll tell you what. Let's take a quick spin.
A swim?
A swim. Dexter and I used to always after a party. Oh, it's as if my insteps were melting away. What is it? Have I got feet of clay? Oh, I feel so small.
Oh, you're immense. You're tremendous.
Not I. Oh, put me in your pocket, Mike.
Oh, hello, Mac. Everybody home from the party?
I thought I heard Miss Tracy's voice down by the pool just now. I better check.
Oh, I see, Mac. Well, I wouldn't bother if I were you.
Okay, Dexter, whatever you say. So long.
So long.
You, what are you doing here?
I might ask the same thing of you.
Well, I went back to the party and Tracy'd already left. I tried to get her on the phone, she didn't answer it. I got worried, so...
I was worried, too.
You? About what?
Tell me, Kittredge, what do you think of this Connor? Or do you?
Now, listen, if you're trying to insinuate...
I wouldn't dream of it. I was only...
Who's that I hear?
Oh, it's only Mac, the night watchman. Kittredge, I advise you to go to bed.
Oh, you do you?
Yes, I do.
Well, I'm staying right here.
I think you're making a mistake. I don't think you'll understand.
Well, suppose you leave that up to me. I do hear something.
No, it is Mac. Mac, it's only us. Come, I'll walk along with you.
Look, I'm staying right here, and so are you.
All right. You asked for it.
Yes, darling. Here we go.
What? Oh, just a minute. She's not hurt, is she?
Oh, no. She's just...
Starved, but dead.
But she hasn't any clothes on.
Delicious.
The minute she hit the water, the wine seemed to...
A likely story, Connor.
Now, listen, if you think...
You'll come back down directly?
Yes, if you want.
I want.
Hello, Dexter. Hello, George. Hello, Mike.
It's the first room at the left of the stairs.
Yeah.
And look out for Dinah.
Good night, little man. Sleep well.
Look out for Dinah.
Sleep well.
How have the mighty fallen? But if I know her, she will remember very little of this tomorrow. For the second time in her life, she's liable to draw quite a tidy blank.
Well, I certainly never expected this to happen.
You believe it, then? The implications?
What else is there to believe?
I don't know. I suppose that's up to you.
Well, I've got eyes. I've got imagination, haven't I?
I don't know. Have you?
Oh, you mean you pretend not to believe it?
Yes, I pretend not to.
Then you don't know women.
Possibly not. You won't be too hard on her, will you?
I'll make up my own mind what I'll be.
But, Kittredge, we're all only human, you know?
You. All of you with your fine, phony, fancy, sophisticated ideas.
Well...
Why, you dirty, low-down...
Just a minute. She's my wife.
Say, what right have you to...
The right of a husband. Till tomorrow morning, anyway.
Well, we'll just see about tomorrow.
You okay, old man?
Listen, you.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. I'm sorry. I thought I'd
Anything
hit you
wrong,
before he
Dexter?
did. Nope. Quiet as a church, Mac.
Who is it? Oh. Too bad. I thought maybe it was Kittredge.
We can't have everything, Mac.
Act 3 of the Philadelphia story with its all-star cast follows in just a moment. And now Betty Furness presents Christmas Insurance.
Yes, it's a new kind of insurance. Insurance that your Christmas turkey will be perfectly juicily roasted every time, just like this. And here's how you insure it. You just put the turkey into this new Westinghouse roaster, and then you put the lid on. Now, the lid bastes it automatically. Then you set this automatic timer down here and forget all about watching the turkey. The Westinghouse roaster oven turns off when your turkey's done and keeps it juicy hot. And the new Westinghouse roaster is lots more than an extra oven. Many women use it daily because it's the easiest way to cook everything. Well, for instance, it cooks a complete meal, meat, potatoes, vegetables for a big family, automatically. These smart heat-proof dishes come with it at no extra cost. And for big single dishes, stews, spaghetti, and such, the Westinghouse electric roaster's perfect when you're entertaining. It bakes pies, cakes, or bread that are triumphs every one. And with the broiler grid attachment, it fries, grills, and broils. New Westinghouse infrared broiling gives you marvelous steaks. And for the next 10 days, your Westinghouse dealer has a wonderful home trial money-back offer for you. He'll let you try a new Westinghouse roaster right in your own home and see for yourself just how wonderful it is. Cook your holiday dinner in it, and we're sure that you'll agree it's just cooked to perfection. Try it, and then keep the roaster or get your money back. And remember, it makes a wonderful Christmas gift. The roaster costs only $43.95. The broiler grid, the automatic timer, and the cabinet are just a few dollars more. Tomorrow, see this Westinghouse Best of Buys. Take advantage of this special offer. Cook your Christmas dinner in the Westinghouse roaster. And remember, you can be sure if it's Westinghouse.
Now we bring you Act 3 of the Philadelphia story by Philip Berry. The next morning.
Tell me, should I tell George? It's getting late.
Well, maybe he'll want to marry her anyway.
Oh, but she can't. If she marries anyone, it's got to be Mr. Connor.
Why, Dinah? Why Mr. Connor?
Dexter.
Well, maybe the little cherub has heard or seen something.
It's Dexter's own diner.
What are you doing here anyway? I should think it'd be bad luck for a first husband to see the bride before the wedding.
That's just what I figured. Tell me, Dinah, did the party give you bad dreams?
It wasn't any dream.
Are you sure? Once you've gone to bed, it's very hard to tell. Practically impossible.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it a fine day, though? Is everybody fine? That's fine.
Hi, I'm hearty.
How are you otherwise?
My eyes don't seem to open properly. Oh, Dexter, do go home.
Not till we get those eyes open.
Uncle Willie, good morning.
That remains to be seen.
I wonder whose this watch might be. I found it this morning. I nearly stepped on it.
Getting out of bed?
Yes, why?
I just wondered.
There's another mystery, Uncle Willie. I was robbed at your house last night.
You don't say.
My bracelet, my earrings, my rings, missing everywhere.
It wouldn't be, these.
You weren't at the party?
You don't remember.
Oh, yes, I do now, sort of, but there was such a lot of people there, it's hard to remember.
Yes, well, you should take a little swim to shake them off. Nothing like a swim after a late night.
Swim. Oh!
There. Now they're open.
That was just the beginning, and it was no dream.
Uncle Willie, speaking of eye-openers, why don't you and I go in the pantry and do something about it?
That's the sanest remark I've heard all morning.
And Dinah, if conversation lags, you might tell Tracy your dream.
Ooh, that sun certainly is bright, all right, isn't it?
It was up awfully early.
Was it?
Yes, I dreamed that, too. It was all certainly pretty rooty-tooty.
What was?
My dream. I thought I got up and went over to the window and looked out across the lawn. Guess what I thought I saw coming out of the woods?
I haven't the faintest idea. A skunk?
Well, sort of. It was Mr. Connor.
Mr. Connor?
Yes, with his both arms full of something. And guess what it turned out to be?
What?
You!
Me?
Wasn't it funny? It was sort of like as if you were coming from the pool or something.
The pool? Oh, I'm going crazy. I'm standing here on my two hands going crazy, and then what happened?
I went out in the hall. Mr. Connor just sailed right into your room with you. Well, that scared me so, but I flew back to get bed, and I pulled the covers up right over my head. Then I guess I must have fallen even fast asleep, because the next thing I knew, it was 8 o'clock. So I got up, and I went over to your room and peeked in to make sure you were all right. And guess what?
What?
You were. He was gone by then.
Of course he was gone. He was never even there.
Oh, I know, Tracy. And I'm certainly glad I do. Because if I didn't, and if in a little while I heard Dr. Patterson saying if anyone knows any just cause or reason why these two should not be united in holy matrimony, I just wouldn't know what to do. And it was all only a dream.
Naturally.
I know, Tracy.
Good heavens. Dinah, go and get your clothes at once. You look like a tramp.
I'm going. Gee, I'm certainly glad it was only a dream, Trey.
Father.
Yes, Tracy?
I'm glad you came. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you, child.
And I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry if I'm a disappointment to you.
I didn't mean that, daughter, and I never will. Margaret.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Have you ever seen a handsomer day?
Never. What did set you back?
Oh, I got it for nothing for being such a good girl.
Good.
And how's your work coming along, Mike? Are you doing us up brown?
Well, somehow I've lost my angle.
How do you mean, Mike?
I've become so all-fired tolerant all at once, I'm afraid I'll never be able to write another line.
Ah, you're a fella, Mike.
And you, Tracy, are you all right?
Me? Why, yes, of course. Why shouldn't I be?
Well, that was a flock of wine we put away.
Well, I guess we're both lucky to have such awfully good heads. Anyway, I had a simply wonderful evening, and I hope you enjoyed it, too.
I enjoyed the last part of it.
Really? Why the last? Why especially the last?
Are you asking me, Tracy?
Oh, you mean the swim. We did swim. And so forth.
We swam, and so forth.
Oh, Mike.
Oh, Tracy, what can I say to you? Oh, you darling.
No,
darling.
don't say anything, and especially not darling.
Going through with it, then.
So with what?
The wedding.
Why shouldn't I?
Okay. No dice. But also remember, no regrets about last night, either.
Why should I have?
That's it, Tracy. You're wonderful. You're aces,
No,
Tracy.
I'm asking you to tell me what the reason is that I should have any... No, don't tell me. Just tell me, what time is it?
It's... Hey, what's happened to my watch?
Why, is it broken?
It's gone. I've lost it somewhere.
I can't tell you how extremely sorry I am to hear that. There on the table.
Huh? Well, what the... Who found it? I'll give a reward or something.
I don't think any reward will be expected.
Now, the medicine indicated in cases of this kind is, Oh, hello, Connor. How do you feel?
About as you'd think. Is that for me?
No, but Uncle Willie's around in the kitchen doing some weird and wonderful things. Just tell him I said one of the same. Doctor's orders, Trey.
What is it?
Oh, just the juice of a few flowers. It's called a stinger. Removes the sting.
Oh, Dext. Nothing will. Nothing ever can. Oh, Dext, I've done the most terrible thing to you.
to me, Tracy? Aren't you confusing me with another fellow named Kittredge?
George!
Yep.
I've got to tell him.
What for?
Oh, I've got to tell him.
Well, you'll have realized by now what a fool he made of himself last night when he came.
What did he want? Was he here too? Holy Moses, why didn't you sell tickets? Yes, I'm such an unholy mess of a girl. I'm just so... But I'll never, ever forget the way you tried to set me on my feet this morning.
I think you're in wonderful shape, Tracy. Tell me, how did you like my wedding present?
Oh, it was sweet and beautiful, Dex.
Quite about the true love. She was yar.
Yes, she was yar, all right. I wasn't, was I?
Wasn't what?
Yar.
Not very.
Where is she now?
Oh, I'm selling her.
You're selling the true love? For money?
Well, I thought I'd design another for myself along a little more practical lines.
What will you call her?
Oh, I thought the true love second. What do you think?
Dex, if you call any boat that, I'll blow you and it right out of the water.
Well, I know it's not very imaginative,
I'll
but...
tell you what to call her in fond remembrance of me, the easy virtue.
Oh, Tracy, I won't have you thinking that of yourself.
And what would you have me think?
Well, I don't know, but I do know that the occasional misdeeds of a person are often better for them than the more persistent virtues. Maybe this is your coming of age, Trey.
I don't know. I don't know anything anymore.
That sounds very hopeful. That sounds just fine, Tracy.
Oh, be still, you.
Tracy, Mr. Kittredge left this note for you this morning.
Thanks, Thomas.
They're all practically in, miss. Quite a crowd standing behind. All our best wishes, miss.
Thank you very much, Thomas.
And all ours, Tracy.
Thank you.
It looks like deadline, Trey.
So is this. Listen. My dear Tracy, your conduct last night was so shocking to my ideals of womanhood that I feel I am certainly entitled to a full explanation before... George?
In front of all these people.
It's only a note from a friend, George. These are my friends, too. A full explanation before going through with our proposed marriage. In the light of day, I'm sure that you will agree with me. Otherwise, with profound regrets and all best wishes, I am yours very sincerely. Yes, George, I quite agree with you in the light of day. And in the dark of night, for richer, for poorer, for better, for worse, and in sickness and in health. And thank you very much for your good wishes at this time.
Well, haven't you anything else to say?
What else? I wish I had an explanation. Unfortunately, I have none. Say something stupid.
Wait.
What for?
Enough rope.
On the eve of your wedding, an affair with another man.
I said I agree, George. But if I could make you see that somehow, regardless of it, I somehow feel that I'm more of a person.
Well, that's a little difficult to understand.
Kittredge, it might interest you to know that this so-called affair consisted of exactly 2 kisses and 1 rather late swim.
Thanks, Mike, but there's no need to explain.
After which I accompanied the lady to her room, deposited her on her bed, and promptly returned to you 2 down here, as you will doubtless remember.
Doubtless, without a doubt.
Do you mean to say that's all that happened?
I mean to say.
Why was I so blasted unattractive? So distant, so cool, so forbidding?
You were extremely attractive, and as for being cool and forbidding, far from. But you were also somewhat befuddled by wine, and there are rules about that.
Thanks, Mike. I think men are wonderful.
The little dears.
Miss Embry, I fail to see the humor in this situation.
Oh, I appreciate that. It was a little hard for me, too, at first.
Liz.
It's all right, Tracy. We all go a little haywire at times, and if we don't, maybe we ought to.
Liz, if
But
I...
Tracy, a man expects his wife
to behave herself, naturally.
To behave herself naturally.
Well, if it hadn't been for all that drink, then nothing would have happened.
But apparently nothing did happen. What made you think it had?
Well, you didn't seem to think so well of yourself.
That's an odd thing, George. I somehow would have hoped that you'd think better of me than I did. Goodbye, George.
Well, if that's the way you want it.
That's the way it is.
Well, it's probably all for the best.
I thought you might eventually see it that way.
I have a feeling that you had more to do with this than anyone.
There goes George.
Oh, well, for a What on earth am I to do?
don't worry about Tracy. You'll be got out of it.
He got out of it, did you say?
Of course you will. You always are.
Tracy, I met George in the hall. It's all right, darling. Your father will make a very simple announcement.
Is there anything special you want me to say?
No, thanks, Father. Whatever it is, I'll say it. I won't be got out of anything more, thank you.
What's a lack? What's amiss?
Can't be happening. It just can't.
Good morning, hello. That is to say, I'm awfully sorry for the delay, but there's been a slight hitch in the proceedings. I've made an awful fool of myself, which isn't unusual, and my fiancé that is, he thinks that we ought to call it a day, and I quite agree with him. What do I say?
2 years ago, you were invited to a wedding at this house, which I did you out of by eloping to Maryland.
2 years ago, you were invited to a wedding at this house, which I did you out of by eloping to Maryland.
Which was very bad manners.
Which was very bad manners.
So I promised to go through with it today as originally planned.
So I promised to go through with it today as most beautifully and originally planned.
I'd like you to be my best man, Mike, because I
Ladies,
think you're a great guy.
I'd be proud to, C.K.
No rushing, please.
Pretty and gay, and I've always wanted to have one. So, if you'll
Kindly keep your seats for just a moment.
kindly keep your seats for just a moment.
That's all.
That's all. Text. Are you sure?
I don't know, but I got a license. We never used Maryland being closer. I'll take a chance if you will.
You bet. And you're not doing it just to soften the blow?
No.
To save my face?
It's a pretty little
Oh, I'll be yar now. I promise I'll be yar.
face. You'll be anything you want. You're my gal. All set?
All set. How did this ever happen?
Don't inquire. Dinah, go ahead. Tell Mr. Dutton to start the music.
I did it all.
Daughter.
I love you, Father.
I love you, daughter.
Never before in my life have I been so full of love.
See you soon, Trey.
See you soon, next. How do I look?
Like a queen, like a goddess.
And you know how I feel? Like a human being.
And is that all right?
All right. Oh, Father, it's heaven.
Stay tuned for tonight's cast and news about our next star-studded production. And now,